Good afternoon. Welcome to ISTV English News. I'm Surbula Kangabam. In today's top stories, we have most parts of Manipur Valley flooded, thousands of people and domestic animals rendered homeless, paddy fields, fish farms submerged. And now the news in detail. Most parts of Manipur Valley are reeling under widespread and severe floods that could be described as one of the worst in the past many years. Till yesterday, vast areas in Thawal district and even in Chandel district were inundated, causing massive destruction in terms of agricultural cultivation and fish farming, not to say of household articles. But today, since early morning, following incessant and heavy rainfall throughout last night in the state, different parts of Imphal East and West district have been inundated. The water levels of Imphal and Nambul rivers were found suddenly rising in the morning and are still rising rapidly. Some places near the Nambul River on Imphal Jiribam Road have begun to be flooded by water that overflowed from the river. Many places on both sides of Imphal More Road at Waikom Lekai, Kakwa, Narim Lekai, Faiza Leitong, Thongzu, etc. have been flooded with rain water as there are no adequate drains in the areas. Most inter-villages roads, lanes and bylanes have been covered by sheets of water. Flood-affected areas in Imphal are expected to widen gradually. Vast areas of Nongmaikong in Hianglam Assembly constituency have been flooded by the water that overflowed from Imphal River into Pumlenpat. The recent incessant heavy rainfall has made the water level of Imphal River rise above danger mark. Even the canal in Nongmaikong is on the verge of breaching. Residents of the areas have resented the negligence shown by the authorities concerned as regards the flood situation. The recent heavy rainfall has caused considerable rise in the water level of moats and rivers. This has further damaged the Khongnambal Tentha Haibung Khangabok site of Wangjing Tentha River. Excess water from Wangjing Tentha River and Eco Path has inundated large tracts of paddy fields, fish farms in Khangabok Part 3. Yaripok, Poirok Path and paddy fields in and around Poirok Kongjin and Tabukpi under Andhra Assembly constituency have been inundated by the water released from two shutters of the dam constructed in between Poirok Kongjin and Tabukpi. One K.N. Singh from Andhra Assembly constituency along with leaders of Youth Congress have inspected the flood-affected areas. Measures have been taken up to help the owner of the paddy fields and farms in a meeting with the leaders. Schools and colleges should be open immediately. The ongoing movement is not a battle between two enemies. Instead, this is a movement of putting pressures on the government to pass a new bill to save the state and the indigenous people of Manipur. This was stated by Iboton Sana Girls Higher Secondary Students Union in a press release. And before we move on, a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
I'm ready.
Telero.
Editor ka late.
Some say huzik pudi perfectly straight ado kankhar kandadi freezy.
Relax. Perfectly straight.
Aina semi anauba Sunsilk perfectly straight with straight lock technology maramdi. Some kankraba matung daso align straight oina leina bagidamo.
Wow, huzik su straight oirina.
Straight and gorgeous. Sunsilk perfect straight. Lock tobu, rock tobu.
Meanwhile, many civil society organizations and people continue to condemn the incident of death of an innocent student and lend support to the civil movement spearheaded by the JCILPS in the interest of every citizen of Manipur, demanding implementation of inner-line permit system to protect the indigenous people of Manipur, resignation of the MLAs on moral ground if people wish cannot be granted, deliver justice in connection with Robin Hood's death and punishment of the police personnel responsible for the killing of the student, etc. Sit-in demonstration, forming human chains and blocking the roads are still seen in different places of the valley as lending support to the JCILPS. Hundreds of residents of Thongchom Charangpat, Bengi, Ichom Kuno Students Club, Nepra Pechi state sit-in protest. Similar protests were also seen in places of Kokchin Kuno, Chanung and including Kuki community of Chingal. At Wangoi Market too, a large number of protesters gathered and staged a protest under Wangoi Apunba Maira Loop and Wangoi Senior Citizens. At Mayang Imphal and Lamsang Market too, sit-in demonstrations were staged. And moving on to some national and international news. Attraction to radical ideologies such as those propagated by the Islamic State IS terror group and ways to prevent Indian youth from coming under the way of extremist doctrines are on the agenda of a high-level meeting convened by the Home Ministry today. The meeting, chaired by Union Home Secretary L.C. Goyal, is being attended by the Home Secretaries and Police Chief of a dozen states: Jammu and Kashmir, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Kerala, Assam, Punjab, West Bengal and Delhi. Our ministry officials aided. At the meeting, a strategy is likely to be formalized for aiding the government's efforts to neutralize extremist ideologies such as that espoused by IS, also sometimes referred to as ISIS or ISIL. Attraction toward radical ideology of any religion is a matter of concern. We will have to put in place a system, as there are inputs that the Indian youth are attracted to different extremist ideologies, including the Caliphate promoted by ISIS, the official said. Counter-radicalization efforts would include counseling of youth, convincing community elders to persuade the younger generation to not get influenced by any extremist ideology, monitoring of social media sites and taking preventive steps. A Samajwadi Party leader on Saturday stirred a controversy by requesting Party Supremo Mulayam Singh Yadav to nominate 1993 Mumbai serial blast convict Yaqub Memon's widow Raheen as a Rajya Sabha MP. The remarks came just 2 days after 1993 Mumbai serial blast convict Yaqub Memon was hanged at Nagpur Central Jail. Vice President of SP Maharashtra State Unit Mohammad Farooq Ghoshi wrote a letter to Malayalam in this regard. Raheen was in jail for many years. How much she would have suffered. Today, I find Raheen helpless, and there are many such Muslims in the country who find themselves helpless and for whom we have to fight for. We should make Raheen a Rajya Sabha MP and make her the voice of weak and helpless people, Ghoshi said. According to investigating agency, Tiger Memon got Yaqub involved in planning and plotting the serial blast that killed at least 257 people and injured about 700 on March 12, 1993. More than 9,700 cases of atrocities against women, including domestic violence and rape, have been registered since April 1 this year, with Uttar Pradesh seeing the highest number of such cases, the government said. This many cases have been registered with the National Commission for Women so far this financial year. Giving details in the Lok Sabha, Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi said reasons for violation of women's rights include domestic violence, outraging the modesty of women, dowry harassment, property dispute, rape. As per the state and union territory-wise data, Uttar Pradesh has seen the highest number of women's rights violation cases so far this financial year at 6,110, followed by Delhi 1,179, Haryana 504, Rajasthan 447 and Bihar 256. Together, in the last 3 financial year and so far this fiscal, the total number of such cases in Uttar Pradesh stood at 44,328. According to the minister, action taken by the commission includes forwarding the complaints to concerned authorities. Other actions taken by the government include enforcement and implementation of laws and programs for the protection of women, such as Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, Sexual Harassment at Workplace, Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013, and Women Helplines, she added. And before we wind up, the top stories once again. Most parts of Manipur Valley flooded. Thousands of people and domestic animals rendered homeless. Paddy fields, fish farms submerged. Thank you so much for joining with us, and do stay tuned for more news.